Hey there. Hey, this is Darren LaCroix, day 78 of the challenge. So, hero worship. I was thinking about this on my long drive back from LA to Vegas, and it dawned on me, like, hero worship, like, is that good or is it bad? Well, obviously there's downside to it. But, well, let's start with the downside. That's kind of more obvious, that when you worship something means that you put it at the top or make it the ultimate. And so the bad side is giving it way too much credit, more than it deserves. Well, obviously, especially if you're a believer, nothing's supposed to be above God. But in addition to that, it's like, I know people put me in the Toastmaster world, put me on a pedestal much higher than I deserve. And that's really important to understand, that just because someone accomplished something doesn't mean they have it all together. I don't have it all together. I worked really hard. I had great mentors. I learned a lot in the speaking world, but it doesn't mean I have my whole life together. In fact, it doesn't. Hey, Denise. Hey, Palmo. So I think that the challenge is when we put people on too high of a pedestal, or we think just because they're good in that one area, they have their whole life together. They've got it going on. Not true. Early on in my stand-up days, I had many different mentors, and one of my mentors, I worshipped him, and I put him on a pedestal way too high. And there was some obvious signs along the way that he had some challenges in other parts of his life, and it wasn't cool. But I was so naive, and I believed everything he told me, and I didn't see the facts, and ended up that he stole money from me, not once but twice, a lot of money. And I didn't have the money then. I was still working at home, having my school loans and having my business loan, even though I didn't have a business anymore. And so I trusted him because I worshiped him. And that might be a little strong a word, but maybe not too much. But he was the person who believed in me. And so I gave him credit in all aspects of life, like he knew everything. And I was really naive to the fact that there was some areas that it wasn't cool. And I don't want to go into details. I don't want to name names or anything. It's not about that, because I had other mentors who, they were great in their craft, but then they had other issues in their life too. So we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful that we don't put someone on too high of a pedestal, that we actually have hero worship and we kind of forget ourselves. It's great to learn from people. It's great to be a sponge. It's great to find people who are awesome at the craft that we want to learn and learn from them. But we shouldn't put them on that pedestal that's too high and think that they've got everything together. Now, there's a lot of people who have a lot of things together, but on the surface, we honestly don't know. Now, on the good side of hero worship, if you know me, or especially know me growing up, sometimes I get enamored with fame and famous people, and I just like, I get starstruck. I still have some of that, but not nearly to the degree I used to. But honestly, it was good. It was also good for me. The good side of hero worship is that because these people, some of these mentors that I put on a pedestal too high, I did everything they told me to do, and I took it as like a word, like, no, they say it, it's got to be true. And so I think on the upside of hero worship, for me personally, it was really good, because I did things I would not have done otherwise. Like, if other people told me to do it, I would have discounted that. I wouldn't have listened. But because it was them saying it, and I felt they were famous and they had it going on, that they must know. And so I got to give myself, I'm glad I was naive, because it got me to commit to things I would have never committed to if I didn't kind of have that quote unquote hero worship. So, hero worship, good and bad. Be careful. But at the same time, back then, I'm thankful for, even though it led to some big mistakes in my life. It also led to some big gains. So I thought it was interesting to look at both sides of hero worship, that, you know, we never want to put somebody too high on a pedestal. So for what it's worth, continue the conversation in the comments and inspire by example. Tell your story. People need to hear it.